Law offices, one call, that's all studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it.
We're gonna find a way to do it. We're gonna do our best. It's going to be tough today. This stings more than most because when you think about some of the tougher ones that have happened, right? There's like usually one moment you can point to of, hey, this is where a coaching mistake was made. This is where an error was made. Can't believe he missed that shot. Can't believe they called that defense. And if you want to nitpick about little things that happened in last night's Brewers game along the way, to me it ultimately doesn't matter because all roads pointed to Devin Williams was coming into that game in the ninth inning with a 2-run lead. And Devin Williams is, and I feel terrible for him because he is one of, at the beginning of the year, he was like one of the few established guys. 2-time All-Star, 2-time reliever of the year, rookie of the year. I know he had the injury at the beginning of the year, but still, I mean, he was lights out. 1.25 ERA in the handful of games that he appeared in. 13 and 14 out of save opportunities. Like, that's the situation you want. If I sat here yesterday, Alex Strofe, our cousin sub of the day, if I sat here yesterday during KBN or our show yesterday morning and said, hey, going into the ninth, 2-run lead, Devin Williams is coming in, everybody signs up for it.
Perfect situation.
And it's not, oh, and Willie Adames booted it. I can't believe it.
Right.
Just he wasn't good enough. Maybe he was tipping his pitches. I haven't had a chance to completely watch the John Boy video, which is like 8 minutes long. Maybe he was tipping his pitches. Maybe he wasn't. I'm not sure. I think me believing he was tipping his pitches, I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse.
Does that change anything?
It doesn't.
No. Look, it's the exact scenario you would hope for. The exact scenario. Maybe a 3-run lead.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's exactly what you want in the ninth inning. You want your guy on the bump to close it out. It was perfectly managed, perfectly drawn up, and
I mean,
his worst moment comes in the worst spot.
One of the things I've picked up from Homer over the years are the cool things that happen in losses that then get lost to history. Sal Frelick hitting a ball 408 feet when he hadn't had a home run since May 15th.
Yeah, he had the most at-bats without a home run in the MLB.
I believe among qualified batters, he had the lowest exit velocity on average of anyone.
Probably, yeah.
He had two
he's not a home
runs.
run hitter. He's not a home run hitter. And he's a terrific defender. He was damn good offensively this series. He had some crucial at-bats. So obviously, he had the single in the ninth as well, the bottom of the ninth, which led to a Bryce Terang ground out for a double play to end the season. Yeah, Frelick was great. But all in all, I mean, look, heading into the ninth inning, the top of the ninth inning, Gabe, you looked at that game and you go, wow, this couldn't have gone much better.
Yeah.
They're 3 outs away from advancing. They'll have the Phillies, 5-game series. We'll see what happens there, but you feel really good about the way this team responded after dropping game 1 in a 3-game series.
Mm-hmm.
And then we know what happens from there. It sucks that Devin Williams' worst moment happens there. And I think that's what makes this one sting that much more.
Because, there are, in every other one, oh, you could do this differently.
Yep. There's nobody to be mad at. You feel bad for Devin Williams.
I mean, if you want to be mad at Devin Williams, I guess you can
Go
be.
for it, right?
I'm not going to be.
Well, I guess the one way you could be, which I'm not, but the one way you could be is when you think of the last several postseason runs.
Well,
or lack thereof.
But here's
like he has something to do with all of them.
Here's the problem. So Daniel the Sloth chimes in. They should have taken him out after one hit.
No,
guess that's not like how any of this works. That's like saying after Jordan Love in a game-winning drive throws one incompletion. Oh, he probably doesn't have it. You got to put the other guy in. You're not warming up somebody simultaneously with your closer in case the closer doesn't have it that day. Like there's nobody up in the bullpen. There's nobody getting loose. But you get to that moment, you ride or die with your best reliever. And that's Devin Williams.
Typically is. Last night it wasn't. It's okay, I guess, but this one sucks. I was probably counting my chickens before they hatched last night. And we all may have been subconsciously a little bit. And then you watch what happens. And then Pete Alonso swings, what was it, 376 or 367, whatever it was. Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, it's what Wisconsin sports seem best at. Getting my hopes up and breaking my heart.
I mean, that's just sports in general.
Yeah.
I don't want to I don't want to do we're cursed as Wisconsin sports fans.
I didn't say cursed. It's just
because
what it is.
I mean, well, no, it's just, that's the life of a sports fan, man. Unless you happen to luck into a team that catches fire and has one of these dynasties. There's one team that gets to win the championship at the end.
Mm-hmm.
29-31 other teams are heartbroken at the end of the year.
But you're telling me
That's
it never
everybody.
felt like this team was that good? This team was better than what they showed us. They were better than a wild card team.
This team, yeah, and that's why it stings.
But they responded to every single piece of adversity.
And that's why
it stings.
That's why it stings, because
they were so easy to buy into.
So, for example, last year, I was at Game 2, and the Brewers multiple times had kind of threatened after scoring early, and then they fell down. And they had threatened. They had got the bases loaded a couple times. One of those times, they got the bases loaded, cleanup hitter was coming up. In most situations, including this year's team, cleanup hitters coming up, you're going, oh, man, this could get fun. Some damage could be done here. You know who was batting cleanup last year in that game? Care to take a guess? Mark Canha.
Oh, jeez.
So
I would have never gotten that right.
Mark Canha. Mark Canha's coming up to the plate. And Mark Canha's a fine hitter if he's 7 or 8. He's not a cleanup hitter. So, it feels, with that, it's like, okay, the offense ultimately probably wasn't good enough. If Mark Canha is, at that moment, that's when it slapped me across the face. Like, oh, man, this offense actually isn't good enough to do anything. Whereas this year's team, the offense was. The pitching was. This was a really good team. And the randomness of baseball makes it tough in these 3-game series. The regular season success doesn't always carry over, which is why we wanted the first round bye so bad. Mm-hmm. And am I optimistic about the future of this franchise? Of course I am. The people in charge have given you no reason to be anything but optimistic. But also, where you might be excited, there was one text in here, I've already lost it. Frankie had texted in even before the show started, about the excitement of this team going forward. And that's true. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
And I know there's going to be at some point this winter where I'm excited about, oh man, this lineup with Christian Yelich. Oh man, Brandon Woodruff coming back. Mm-hmm. I know those things are coming. However, 10 guys from this team were on the playoff team a year ago. The nature of Brewers baseball is there's going to be turnover. Mm-hmm. Jackson Chourio is going to be here, and that's going to be exciting as well. But Willie Adames talked about it last night.
He's gone.
I don't know if we have some of that sound, Joshy, from Willie, where he's hoping to be back, but has no idea if he will be.
Some of these players leave here knowing that, hey, we'll do it again next year. Can you put yourself in that category, or do you think that was it for you in a Brewers uniform?
Well, I can't tell you if that was it or not. I mean, I guess we have to wait, but I would love to be here next year competing with my boys again. It would be great. It would be special. I know the talent that we have in this clubhouse is something special, and I know we can do great things together.
What do you want him to say after?
It's
an
a
hour
great
after
answer.
a loss. It is a great answer.
But
he's not going to be here.
It's a question that has to be asked.
But he's not going to be here.
Probably not.
He's going to go get paid, and deservingly so. He had a great year. The thing
Devin Williams probably won't be here.
He won't be here.
And it's nothing to do with last night's game. It's just
no.
Brewers have a club option, I believe, for just over $10 million.
I don't want to derail us too much here, but you brought up the idea of cursed, and I understand where that's coming from. It's part of being a sports fan. You're going to lose sometimes in devastating ways. But I didn't feel any better when I read from Sarah Langs from the MLB. Teams entered the day 7 for 105 when trailing, entering the 9th inning in a winner-take-all postseason game. They were 2 of 82 when trailing by multiple runs ending the 9th. That record is now 3 in 82.
It's tough, man. Like
It's just the most Wisconsin sports thing ever. And I'm not saying we're cursed.
no, but you are by putting it's just sports in general, man. Like it has nothing to do with us.
But it feels like Wisconsin teams have the constant ability to find unique ways to lose.
3 of 82.
3 of 82, Gabe. You're going to sit here and say that's sports?
yeah,
That's a Brewers thing.
that's not a. So if you think it's a specific Brewers thing, then you think they're cursed.
No.
Then you did no. How do you separate those two?
You understand more than most. When we lose in the postseason, we find ways to do it dramatically.
In fantastic fashion.
The Packers have done it 100 times. Now the Brewers do it again.
I don't want to have this overall discussion, right? Like I don't want to turn this into woe is us. Like because when you put a Wisconsin thing, because like
I think we were allowed to have what was us day today.
well, yeah, but like
you said we could dump our buckets. Now you're judging us for what's in our buckets.
No, I mean it's just, but it's not a Wisconsin sports thing. It's just a sports thing.
Epic collapse every time.
Not every time.
Just about.
Well, no, I mean, we just talked about how last year Mark Cannon was batting cleanup. That's not an epic collapse.
That's just, that's crazy.
Like that's just your team.
That I can laugh at because it's been a year. I can't laugh at how fun this team was this year. And that's what gives the extra degree to the burn.
So the thing that stings the most, what I was getting to before we got derailed there.
Sorry.
Because it stings. And again, I am optimistic about the future of this organization. But I felt like this team was really good and had an opportunity. And even though it was a surprise based on their preseason prognostications, when you get in these situations, you need to capitalize. I am reminded of a conversation I had with Jim Rutledge when I was working in Madison doing a show with Jim.
Oh, boy.
Back in 2010. Who tried to tell himself after the Packers defeated the Bears in the NFC Championship game, oh, it's okay. The Bears are ahead of schedule anyway. What have the Bears done since 2010? And I'm not saying that the Brewers are headed for a decade of irrelevance.
No.
I'm just saying what I'm saying there is it's easy to go, oh, they were ahead of schedule. Yeah, maybe. I mean, baseball's so random. This team's going to be a lot different next year. And while I'm optimistic for it, they had an opportunity last night. And that's why it stings. Because it wasn't that they weren't up for the moment, because they were. It's not that they played poorly, because for 8 innings, it was unbelievable baseball. And it was fun being in that stadium. And at the end of the day, one of your best players just didn't have it last night. Mm-hmm. Which bleeping sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. This team responded to adversity all year long. They had, like 17 different starting pitchers? They had how many different guys record saves? You had a former MVP back to all-star form. You lose him for a season. You have one Cy Young winner traded. You have another Cy Young capable guy out for the entire year. Robert Gasser was terrific. He's out for the year. Uribe's out for the year. This is a team that was in first place all season with a bunch of rookies and unproven guys, and it really felt like this team had something special about them. And maybe it was because they didn't know what they didn't know type fun because they were so young and inexperienced. Last night felt like a totally missed opportunity. And who knows what the heck happens when you go to Philly this weekend. And then all of a sudden it just slips through your fingers.
I would have loved to find out.
Yeah, me too, Gabe.
Would have loved to have found out.
Really thought we were going to find out as well when we had 3 outs to go and Devin Williams coming to the mound. It just it hurts. That one stings more than other postseason exits by the Brewers in recent memory. Just because there's so much unknown. And it felt like they had the perfect opportunity, as you said at the top of the show. If we before we even played that game, if you said to anybody, you're up 2 runs, Devin Williams, 9th inning,
lights
you're
go
3
out,
outs away.
Lights go out, and here comes Devin.
And we're all going, oh yeah,
Sign me
buy
up.
the plane ticket to Philly. Here
Sign
we come.
me up.
And it just wasn't his night.
Because 91% of the time, or whatever it is, he's come through.
Yeah. And last night, Pete Alonso came through. The former Madison Mallard, by the way.
No, we don't need to talk about that.
A guy who couldn't field a fly ball.
Accurate.
God, I want him to cash in on that, too, and just make that sting.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what happiness is?
Like, in life, yeah, I think I do. I guess
That was Gabe.
The hesitation. Are you sure?
What are you laughing at?
I've never seen a less sure response from anyone.
In general life?
You seem to not even know what the definition was there for a moment.
So no, I'll take it.
Not right now, at least.
I know.
Okay, so apparently you guys are going to answer for me and say I don't.
This doesn't seem that way. You didn't seem so sure. And you know what? My answer is no.
I was asking for clarification of the question.
I don't think there's any needed.
I didn't think it was straightforward enough. Maybe Jason Wilde knows what happiness is. He joins us next.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Starting off with a typical Friday morning ride. It's super quiet around the area. Only a tap of the brakes westbound 94 coming out of the stadium interchange at this point. The rest of the system is moving along well. No incidents to report, so we are in good shape. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, becoming mostly sunny, a high of 67. Tonight, clear and mild, a low of 56. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say seeing is believing. And when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Lock in for October. Brewers postseason tickets are on sale now. Clear your schedule, claim your spot, and be here for a Brewers postseason run you don't want to miss at brewers.com/postseason.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Road, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week, even Sundays. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Make plans now for early October football at the Perk when UW Whitewater hosts UW Oshkosh this Saturday. These national-ranked Division III football powers kick off at 1 p.m. Arrive early for a great game day experience as it's Family Fest in Whitewater. Tickets are available at uwwsports.com. Watch national championship-level college football this Saturday at Perkins Stadium when the Warhawks welcome in the Titans at 1 p.m. for a huge conference matchup. Get tickets at uwwsports.com. Warhawk football, powered by tradition.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Ready, down, put.
All Packers, all the time.
He was a field-tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that this guy's on the field, he changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
is our friend. He is our teammate. He is Jason Wilde. He joins us 3 times a week here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, guys. I'm certainly glad that I switched off of the Pearl Jam Dark Matter tour on the Pearl Jam channel on Sirius XM to listen to you guys at 7 o'clock because, a couple things. First of all, I know you know what happiness is. You've got a lot of happiness in your life. The Brewers took away a little bit of that happiness last night, but you'll recover.
A lot of it.
All Brewers fans. Again, I'm not the help people through this because I don't feel the same feelings. But I think what you guys are doing is I don't want to make too much out of it, but I think it's a really important public service. And I've always believed this ever since I started doing what we do here on the radio, that fans need to be able to work through this, and we give them that opportunity. And listening to you guys try to work through it, there's lots of other Brewers fans who don't have this for a job that are working through it today as well as they go to their jobs. And I love that you guys are there for them. I will say this, listening to you guys in the first segment, I do think that we are myopic about the heartbreak that Wisconsin sports teams deliver because those are our teams. Those are the teams that our fans care most deeply about. But I would venture to say that there are plenty of fan bases. Now, not ones that have crappy teams that are just bad every year. Like, they get saved the heartbreak, right? They don't have to worry about that. They just have to deal with their NFL team going 4-13, and their Major League Baseball team being sub 500, and their NBA team trying to get out of the lottery and make the 8th playoff berth or whatever it might be. And if you'd rather have that, hey, you're right. You won't get hurt then. But I'd be willing to bet that other fan bases with really good teams have plenty of heartbreaking losses. We just don't think about them because they're not our teams. And so I'm glad you guys are here for Brewers fans today so they can work through those emotions. But they have every right to be crestfallen by this. Everything you guys said was true, that this was a team that you had every reason to be really excited about going a lot farther than they did after what happened in the 9th inning.
Let's moving on to the Green Bay Packers. There is a game that's happening for the Packers in Los Angeles on Sunday. What is the optimism around the Packers that they would get one or both of their preferred starting cornerbacks back in the lineup this weekend?
Yeah, I think there should be reason for a lot of optimism there. Carrington Valentine has been limited in practice each of the last 2 days, which is better than being a non-participant, obviously. And Jair Alexander was limited yesterday. So I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that. So we'll see what happens today. I don't think I'm going to get back from Steinhoffels and Waukesha in time for locker room. But I'm really curious, and I thought it was really interesting yesterday. Domofsky asked Jeff Hafley what the plan had been for the Vikings game with Jair and then not having him. And I thought Hafley, without saying it, trying to set it, right? I don't want to go down that road. The plan was the plan. It doesn't matter. So I feel fairly confident, based on what he'd said the previous Thursday, that at least some, if not most or all of the game, Jair Alexander was going to travel with Justin Jefferson. And obviously, when he injures his groin in practice on Thursday, doesn't practice on Friday, and doesn't play on Sunday, that is a major shift in your game plan. But Hafley's point was, it's our job to adjust. We didn't do a good enough job of adjusting, which again tells you that he was probably planning on doing that. and then that was the result.
Jason, where do we think Jordan Love is at in terms of health percentage, right? Like last week, probably somewhere between 80 and 90. Do we feel like he's trending in an upwards direction health-wise for a get-right game this weekend?
Well, he was Mr. Unlimited like Russell Wilson.
Oh, God.
Well, don't compare him to him. That's not good.
Jason, today's already bad enough.
And he's drinking a lot of bubble water, and he's sleeping about 3 hours. He's doing some calisthenics in the airplane.
And then running fake 2-minute drills.
Yeah. Ride Cowboys or whatever the heck he was saying. What is his new phrase down with the Steelers? Watch the game from the bench.
Yeah, I believe that's
his
it.
motto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Strope, I mean, he was a full participant yesterday, which is great. Like, that means he took every single snap that he's supposed to take as the starting quarterback. So I don't know about percentages. I would be willing to guess that, I don't think he was, maybe he was 75 or 80% if you looked at the way he moved in the game last Sunday. So I would hope that would be a meaningful amount better. And more importantly, I would hope that his accuracy and his rhythm and his comfort in the pocket and his connectivity with his receivers would be significantly better as well.
You brought up something when we were doing Green Bay game day on Sunday before the game, the three of us, and you had mentioned about, kind of Jordan Love having to learn how to play Hurts. And I think we saw some of that. And I think Trent Green did a pretty good job on the broadcast, kind of breaking down, hey, look at this footwork. It's not, technically sound. And he took that one hit, and it seemed like it almost assured him that the knee, okay, we're going to be fine. And we've heard so many players talk about that. Do you think he's beyond that? And then the second half, we saw him as a player that knows how to operate while the knee is going to be as limited as it is?
Well, they certainly gave him enough opportunities with 56 dropbacks in the game. So he's certainly got plenty of work there. And as we talked about earlier in the week, to shake off the rust as well. Look, I didn't hear what Trent Green had said during the broadcast. I didn't have the audio on it each time I watched, but I'm assuming he talked about how he wasn't stepping into his throws the way he normally would.
Correct.
With his left leg.
Mm-hmm. And the way he was kind of planting on that left leg was a little weird. And again, I think it just took him a while to learn how to trust it.
Yeah, and I think that's still going to be a process, right? Like, there were 2 times in the game, and one very notably, as I mentioned to you guys early in the week, where I was in the locker room afterward, and he gives me a hard time for being a helicopter parent and beat writer. And I had said to him, you had me a little worried when you took that one hit. And he said, yeah, me too. Like, I think he was concerned that was going to be something serious because he said it was really painful. And yet he was able to walk it off and the pain subsided and he went right back to work. So I do think that that's all extremely valuable. But again, I don't think he's going to be 100%. And my only concern about his well-being is that, it only takes one hit. We saw it only takes one hit in a game in Brazil on a slippery field that, I was worried, frankly. There was that play in Brazil. Remember where he dropped back and his back leg gave out because it slipped?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that was a play where I was like, oh, God, right? And it turned out to be nothing, but that's the kind of stuff you just never – so you just got to play. And I think that's the most important thing beyond shaking off the rust that came out of it, like you said, is that now he's got a better feel for how exactly do I have to adjust my game, how much do I have to adjust my game. I would think it will be less than it was last week. And I think he'll – every week, as long as he doesn't experience any setbacks, he'll look more and more like himself.
Jason, Christian Watson set to miss this week's game. How different is the game plan, or how different can the offense execute with a guy like Dontavian Wicks likely stepping up and taking a lot of that snap share?
So I don't want this to sound like I'm dismissing the importance of Christian Watson, because I'm not. Like, he is a unicorn player. His ability to take the top off the defense they have other guys that can run deep routes, right? I mean, we see it from Jaden Reed, even though he might not fit that profile. We see it from Dontavion Wicks, but they are not the same as Watson. Now, that said, the beauty of having, look, they have a wide receiver group that even I, as someone who wants Devontae Adams back solely for my own selfish reasons as a reporter and my relationship with him, have to admit they don't need Devontae Adams back, even though he's on the trading block, right? And that pains me to say that because I want him back in that locker room. That's one of my guys. But they have such depth that they are really in a great position that most other teams are not to absorb not having Christian Watson for a few weeks. Now, he's not going on injured reserve, so that's a great sign. They have some practice with playing without him, obviously, from his first 2 seasons. But, I still can't get over this, and I wrote about Wicks last night for today. And, the fact that this dude, the 3 drops, I understand. He was tough on himself. We were tough on him. Great. The fact that no wide receiver in the National Football League has gotten open more than him through 4 weeks, that's amazing. He is open on 82% of the routes he runs. No one is that good in the league, and that includes Justin Jefferson. That includes all the guys that are much higher in the NFL wide receiver hierarchy, according to Pro Football Focus. And when I brought up that number to Adam Stenovich, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, Stenovich said, look, I don't look at that PFF stuff. And then he said, but that stat doesn't surprise me at all because that's how good Wicks is. And what I thought was most interesting was that Steno said that no one has better hands on this in this receiving core than Wicks. So if you take the 3 drops as an outlier, and I think he had a drop in Brazil too, if I remember correctly.
Yep, you got it.
If you take those, and I'm not saying they don't count, they obviously do. But if, I love the fact that Jaden Reed told me that they showed up on Monday, and even before the team meeting, they went into the crick and he was on the jugs machine right away. Like, that's what you want from a guy, right? Is that he's so pissed that he made those mistakes that he goes right to work on fixing them. But if those are outliers and his hands are the hands that Adam Stenovich says he has, you get him with his catches, not making mistakes like he did, and getting open as often as he does. That's a pretty lethal combination from what I can gather.
Jason, always appreciate the time, bud. Look forward to hearing you live from Steinhoffel's coming up in about 90 minutes on Wilde and Tausch.
You guys keep doing the great therapy work. I appreciate you. Take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde joins us 3 times a week here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We continue the therapy work. We'll check in with Craig Karmazin. I think he's going to be heartbroken with us. He was pretty high on this team all season long. Our conversation with Craig Karmazin, our Friday check-in, is next.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Everything is still looking great right now. No major delays around the area. We just have one quick tap of the brakes because of a broken down vehicle northbound through the Marquette, but even that's not too bad because it's not really in traffic. Just a little bit of a distraction. Otherwise, we are looking very smooth right now. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Becoming mostly sunny, a high of 67. Tonight, clear and mild, a low of 56. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 24-count essential everyday spring water, $3.99. 45.5 to 50-ounce selected varieties Arm & Hammer laundry, $4.99. 18.2 to 24.5 selected varieties Gordon's Fish, $4.99. 32-ounce selected varieties International Delight Creamer, 2 for $7.
I am starving.
Oh, no. Never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against San Francisco November 24th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
I'm shopping at Century alone next time.
Enter by November 6th.
Is your business looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been looking forward to the future and helping businesses shape what's next for 165 years, and for the last 15 here in Milwaukee. They offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making capabilities, and extensive experience to help navigate the complexities of a constantly changing business market environment. With your business in mind, commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, The Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf. Enjoy The Bog.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. It's Friday, and that means it's time to check in with GKB President Craig Karmazin.
Gabe, you're right. I actually just looked at the stats. No hypocrite has ever won a championship.
Fridays with Mo.
Mark Attanasio, the last thing he wanted to do was play a video and tribute Craig Counsell in any way. So I give Mark Attanasio a ton of credit.
Craig Karmazin on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy is sponsored by Landworks Landscape Services. Their creative and talented team will design, build, enhance, and maintain beautiful landscapes in southeastern Wisconsin. Learn more and see their work at landworkswisconsin.com.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend, Friday.
Enjoy our little chats with Good Karma Brands founder, CEO Craig Karmazin every Friday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Craig, you are one of the biggest believers in this Brewers team all season long. How are you doing this morning?
I'm not doing that well. That was a tough one. It was a really, really tough one. I was at all 3 games. I was just sitting in the stands with my daughter last night. We were thinking about all the good things after those 2 home runs, and it was, I think it was worse than any of the others.
Yeah.
Even worse than the Hader one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because with the Hader one, it's like, okay, he gave up the hit, but then Grisham couldn't field the ground ball. Like, it just seemed like
that was terrible. Though.
Yeah,
but
like it's just a stupid mistake.
Back,
right?
I don't want to let time forget how painful that one was.
Correct.
But this one, I think, was worse. Now, Jackson's young. Like, there's all these things that I think we feel really, really good about this team. This was a year that was, like we said, the Packers year last year, where you weren't expecting it to be the year. So this year is gravy. but it doesn't change how painful the end was.
But I'm also not one of those guys, Craig, that's just like, oh, I mean, they weren't even supposed to be good and weren't supposed to be here. Like, they were there, and they were good enough to be there. It wasn't a fluke. This was a damn good team, and they just let an opportunity slip through their fingers. I think that's why it really hurts more for me than anything. Because if I told you when you and your daughter walked through the gates last night, Craig, hey, Brewers are going to be up 2, Devin Williams coming in the 9th, you would have been stoked.
Exactly. And that's why, like, all the, should have kept Freddie in, because obviously if Freddie didn't pitch well, it would have been, never should have put Freddie in. He's not a relief pitcher. Everyone has the after the fact, and, pulling the starting pitchers early the last 2 nights worked after it didn't the first night. So I think you can't even argue the process.
Yeah, they had a game plan. They executed it perfectly until the 9th inning.
Yeah, and you don't even leave feeling like, well, the Mets are just such a special team and amazing.
No.
Right. Like they made the big play. Obviously, Alonso had the big hit. Lindor is unbelievable, right? I think we knew that coming in, but Lindor's an MVP if it's any other year. So that's not surprising, but it just felt, all 3 games at home. It just felt so winnable. It's tough to get over.
It was winnable. It sucks. It hurts. Craig, I'm going to ask you a question I asked Gabe earlier, and he didn't really know how to answer it. Do you know what happiness is?
Yeah.
Okay, both of you have sound unbelievably uncertain. I'm trying to make myself feel better by going to 2 people who are generally very upbeat and happy, it seems.
Well,
and neither of you have given me very convincing answers.
No, I was saying that because philosophically it's tough. Within the last year, my mom said to me, well, what is actual happiness?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's really deep. So that's where my mind went there. So I think I know happiness, but I don't know. I'm not a philosopher.
Well, how did you answer that to your mother?
I was just like, you're right. That's what you always say to a Jewish mother. You're just like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just kind of the default answer.
Okay.
I am so optimistic, Craig, about the future of this team because Matt Arnold he's done a tremendous job. I think everybody's excited about Pat Murphy. But I don't feel great about the Willie Adames coming back. And in hearing him last night, Greg Matzik from WTMJ and here at 94.5 ESPN asked him about if he thought it was his last game in a Brewers uniform. He said he hoped it wasn't. But it kind of feels like somebody else is going to give him extra years, extra money, that he's not coming back, right?
Yeah, I think I read Bradley Doolittle, I think for ESPN, wrote it last night. I think the Brewers will make way more of a run at Willie than people think they will because the Brewers are just so honest and have such a clear process of what they do. So I think the fans are prepared really well, and I think we know Ortiz and Terang are both so good and so young that if I had to predict, I think he may end up somewhere else. But I think the Brewers are going to make a real, meaningful, concerted offer to him because I think they still will see an extreme amount of value there with him, and he may be more valuable to the Brewers than he is to most of the Major League Baseball teams. My guess is there just may end up being 1 or 2 that are willing to pay a little more.
The fact that he told Jesse Winker to meet him in the parking lot. Yeah. And then he still went there after game 1 and Winker no-showed. That's worth a couple extra. That's worth a little extra money in the contract negotiations, right?
Yeah.
Did you happen to see that story?
I did not see that story. But, the Winker Milwaukee relationship is a pretty unique one. There's not a lot of players that this city and this state feel that way about, right? This is generally an affable, fan base that doesn't like you once you leave, likes you when you're here. There's not a lot of Winkers, when you look across, all of sports, right? Can you find ones like that? So, yeah, Willie, I think everyone has said from the beginning, when the first day he was a Brewer, you're going to love him on the field, you're going to love him off the field. There is everything to love about this guy, and his tenure with the Brewers has just been, marked by great play, great leadership, and winning baseball. And I think the thing about this team, when you look at it going forward, is, oh, this team's so young, so they're going to, I think, this year is kind of the upside of what this team is. And so I think as Brewers fans, we have to be prepared for excruciating October baseball, knowing that not all of them are going to end the way last night did.
I'm hung up on your comparison to last year's Packers team because I don't know if it's fair, right? Because this team fell short of obviously what the Packers did a year ago. What draws you to that comparison? The youth and kind of the knowing what they don't know?
This team was predicted to finish 5th out of 5 in the NL Central. And this team, stunningly overachieved its expectations. And I feel the same way about last year's Packers team. Jordan Love is a first-year starter. Maybe not predicted by everyone to be last in the division, but none of us expected to go to Dallas and win that home playoff, or for the Cowboys, a home playoff game. So I think, for this year, you would have loved to complete that comparison by at least winning the wild card round, which would have made it the exact same as what the Packers did last year. But I still see so many similarities. I mean, this was a young team without Christian Yelich, with, let's call Jackson Chorio the Jordan Love of this team, who led this team into the postseason that, by all accounts, had no rights being a playoff baseball team.
Chorio's upside to me is even higher than Love's.
It's higher?
Yeah.
Craig?
I mean,
he did something that only Babe Ruth has done. What's the comparison in football? Like Jordan Love doing things that only Bart Starr?
Yeah. I'm sure you could find something that Jordan Love did, in his first year starting, to have a perfect quarterback rating on the road, or I know the Jackson Chorio wasn't in his first year, but I mean, Jordan Love did really, really special things. And I do think, if you're saying Jordan Love's upside is to be, the best quarterback in the NFL, I mean, would we say that, or is his upside to be top 3? Do you not think he has the chance to be the best quarterback in the NFL?
As long as Mahomes is around, no. The answer is no.
No, but I'm saying I'm thinking about it more Jaden Daniels and Stroud, as you look at, 7-8 years from now.
Yeah,
right?
I think he's a top 3 to 5 guy. Yeah.
Right, so he's a top 3 to 5 guy and at the most important position in the sport. And I think Jackson Churio's upside is the top 1 to 6 players.
Jackson
in the sport.
Churio's potential is the best player in the sport.
I mean, I think, again, like you said about Mahomes, I think as long as Shohei Ohtani is playing and can be the pitcher also, I think it's almost tough to compare any person to Shohei Ohtani.
That's fair.
That Aaron Judge guy isn't too bad either, in terms of an outfielder.
I mean, but what Jackson Chorio can do, and I think the thing that drove Brewers fans crazy throughout this series is, I think people were looking at it wait, it felt like, all right, the best at-bats in this series and clearly the best player was Chorio. Then afterwards, it's probably Terang with the at-bats he had and, what he did. And then maybe if you had to pick a next player, maybe it's Perkins, who my daughter thinks looks exactly like John Legend. I think there might be
somebody else
there.
texted. I can't remember. Somebody else texted me that yesterday as well.
I see it.
Yeah. My daughter said couldn't not think of John Legend every time Perkins. But you look at the best at bats of the series and all that, and obviously, Frelick ends up, with some big time moments there. And I think the thing that Brewers fans leave frustrated is God, our veterans, aren't the veterans the ones in the postseason? And so I think there is that excitement level around the youth about not just this team pulling together to win a division, going away, the largest division lead throughout Major League Baseball for most of the second half of the season, but that also the young players, and some of which, Sal, I think Sal has more upside in the regular season than we saw this year. That the young players showed up when it meant the most, and there's now this upside for what they can do moving forward.
Yeah, I think of guys like Terang and Sal, another offseason, getting stronger, being able to, because the leap that Bryce Terang made this year, and his OPS was still below average.
Yeah, I was going to say, his offensive numbers ended up falling to a pretty low level, but obviously defensively he was incredible.
Defensively, stealing bases, his WAR numbers are fantastic, Craig. I think he still has more room to grow, despite the huge leap he took forward this year.
Yeah, I think he ended up offensively not even taking as big a leap, because you're right. He impacts the game in so many ways. He's such a winning type player. Oh, and that's enough. Like Bob Uecker nailed it after the game, like right as I got in the car.
Oh man,
the thing about Terang's double play, like in a sick way, I was saying to Harper as we're watching the game, I was like, I actually don't mind if Ortiz strikes out here. Like, as long as he doesn't hit a double play, we're going to get Chourio to the plate. And all we want to do is at least get Chourio to the plate as the tying run. And so then Terang gets to the plate, and I'm like, all right, it'd be great if Frelick could steal second, but with Terang's speed, you're not, I mean, to hit into a double play, the chance of that is just so low.
He hit it so hard. He hit that ball so hard, Craig.
And Uecker said it exactly. He's like, it's just, there's nothing that could explain it, except it can only happen in baseball, where Terang, who doesn't ground into double plays, could hit the ball that hard right to Lindor. I mean, it's just, in any other scenario, we're at least talking about Jackson Chourio coming to the plate as the tying run.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
I'm defeated.
It was a tough listening on the broadcast last night, by the way, at the end. Uecker was very emotional. Levering was very emotional. Bob Uecker was hanging out in the clubhouse an hour, I believe, over an hour after the game. Craig, we appreciate the time. It's going to be a tough one today. We're going to continue to fight through it.
I don't feel better.
We're going to get there.
You think?
We're going to get there.
Okay.
Bucks training camp in Irvine, California ends tomorrow. The team will be in action on Sunday. And it's
you going to be there?
It's time to no, it's in Detroit. I will not be there. There will be time to turn a page to another excruciating postseason, hopefully, that ends up on the other side for the Milwaukee Bucks. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Craig.
Craig Karmazin joining us here as he does every Friday on Gabe and Chewy. Yeah, what's up, Craig? Yep. We still got you.
At the beginning of the segment, you mentioned I heard the Landworks thing. The Landworks people were here yesterday. I came home. They did the most. It says creative. They did the coolest Halloween decorations on my front porch that I've ever seen. So we always mention Landworks at the beginning of the segment, but what they say in that liner about the creative and professionalism, whatever, they're unbelievable Landworks, landscaping.
What, you have like a giant, 12-foot skeleton? What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
So, they put a bunch of pumpkins, right, which is cool.
Naturally.
And then they put this, hanging thing over the front door that's so cool. But the topper of it is, I have these little two dogs, I'm obsessed with dogs. And we have these two little dog, statues, in the front porch, little, lawn thingies. And they put, one of them when I got home is wearing, the mask from the movie Scream, where the dog, totally freaks you out. And then the other dog is wearing, a scary monster mask. That, is just, they're both the most, freaky things you've ever seen. And I had no idea they were doing it. And they totally it'll help me get over the Brewers, just walking in and seeing the scariness of my front porch every day.
I hope everybody can find their scariness of the front porch that Craig has to help them get over the loss.
That's what happiness is. A scary, happy front porch.
It's Landworks landscaping. There you go.
Yeah, there you go, Craig.
The next edition of Behind the Bucks is here. Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher. Bucks stars share their experiences from competing on the world's biggest stage, the Olympics, from battling against their Bucks teammates, teaming up with fierce rivals, all for the glory of a gold medal. Behind the Bucks offers a unique access and deep storytelling for Bucks fans unlike ever before. It's presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Find it bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcasts.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
The Jen, Gabe, and Chewy podcast is sponsored by Celsius Energy Drink, and I am here to tell you it makes a huge difference in my mornings. With a unique blend of essential energy and key vitamins, Celsius is your partner to an active lifestyle. My favorite, the Peach Vibe. Learn more at Celsius.com and pick up Celsius Energy Drinks today.
Landworks is the locally owned landscape company to elevate the look of your home or business. Landworks is different because of customer service. From the crew to the salesperson to the admin team, you're in good hands with Landworks. Their sales and design teams are made up of horticulturists, licensed landscape architects, and passionate plant people. Their landscape architects and horticulture team members are also project managers. This means you'll have a single point of contact from initial design through completion of work. See their amazing work for yourself at landworkswisconsin.com.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Before you buy generic Viagra, try this hack to get 9 tablets for just $7. Prescription and shipping are free. All you need to do is go to FridayPlansRx.com and answer a few medical questions. A doctor reviews your answers and prescribes you online for free, if appropriate, 9 tablets of generic Viagra for just $7. Go to FridayPlansRx.com. Yes, that's right, 9 tablets for $7. FridayPlansRx.com. Restrictions apply. Paid for by FridayPlansRx.com.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
What's the one thing you say almost weekly here on the show?
Less eat.
Try again.
I don't know.
What's the one thing you've got?
Big boobs.
You've got time.
Oh,
time. You've got time.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
We got there.
I needed a few more hints.
Yeah.
What?
You put you in a... That's Dave's fault.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Tell me your life's been way off line.
Well, New York down. They did it. And the crew will have it end here tonight.
Really a crushing end to what was a fabulous season for the Milwaukee Brewers.
I'm telling you, that one had some sting on it.
All right, now I'm conflicted. Because that's excellent producing, but it doesn't help.
I said to Josh while he started playing it, why are we doing this?
I mean, again, it was an emotional night in the broadcast. That when Levering was signing off, we had Jeff on yesterday. Like he was fighting back tears and not winning that fight at all. I mean, everybody was heartbroken about it. And so I do want, quickly, I know Josh has a question for us, but I do want to issue quickly an apology because you guys were right. I was lashing out because of how sad I am about the whole, woe is us, Wisconsin sports thing. Like, I lashed out. I apologize for that. If that's the way you feel this morning, that's the way you feel. I can't change that.
Thank you for not fan shaming, and I appreciate the apology is accepted, and I appreciate it.
Everybody's lashing out, right? Like,
and you're allowed to.
It's funny you mention that because I've got to lash out an emotional, bringing myself to polluted mindset, leaning in.
Oh boy,
I have this thought. I haven't convinced myself of it.
Oh boy.
Would you rather have your heart broken in the playoffs or not be in the playoffs at all?
Rather have your heart broken in the playoffs.
Because I think that's the right answer, but parts of me right now, today, feel that way.
If the Brewers missed the playoffs, Josh, today's show would be so easy. We'd be talking about the Packers and the Rams.
Baby. Road favorites.
Feeling great. Yeah, road favorites, feeling good. Yeah, they're 2-2, but they got through this injury. We're feeling good. You look at the schedule. This next stretch, not as tough as we thought at the beginning of the season. Like, today's show would be easy and upbeat and fun if the Brewers missed the play. So I understand where that's coming from.
Because I think a month from today, my answer's different than I feel right now. And I'm not even sure I feel that way fully.
No, you don't. You don't.
Because it's one of those things you toss around in your head when you let yourself go to some ugly places.
Dark spots.
I understand this is the depression hours, right? We are grieving together, but it is a beautiful privilege for us to constantly be in this position where 3, 4, 5 times a year, depending on how many teams make it, right? Like Marquette had a really nice run in March that ended in heartbreaking fashion. The Packers seemingly do it every year. The Brewers now seemingly do it every year. The Bucks seemingly do it every year.
You know
it is a beautiful privilege to have the opportunity to be this pissed off on a Friday morning.
Yeah, you know what was less fun? When the Packers missed the playoffs and Aaron Rodgers last year.
Correct.
That was not fun.
Well, they still broke our hearts in a kind of a playoff way that year, too.
Yeah, stung a little less.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
You know that's not
because they
true.
weren't very good.
But I know that. It was a weird season.
It was like, I mean, again, when Aaron Rodgers is dropping back and Alan Lazard is his best option, it's like when Mark Canna comes up back in cleanup, right? It goes back to that example, right? Like you realize, like,
sure, but Gabe,
maybe they're not that good.
We might be doing a little bit revisionist history because I think the mindset at that point, when we think back to that, what was that 2022 season?
Yeah. Well, you have Aaron Rodgers.
You have Aaron Rodgers. You get in the dance, anything can happen.
I mean, he gave Jeff Janis 100-yard, possession one time in the playoffs. He's Aaron Rodgers. He can do anything.
Yeah, and that's why you did not feel that way at that point.
But,
this sucks. This feeling, and again, I said it earlier. This feels about 2018-ish. Brewers-wise, in terms of heartbreak because of the situation, right? You go into the 9th inning expecting to win. You expect Devin Williams, as he always does, to get the job done. And unfortunately, he has his worst appearance at the worst time, and that's what makes it sting. You feel bad for him. I understand people are pissed with him. You're allowed to feel however you feel. I feel bad for him because he's that good of a pitcher. He's your best reliever. You have him in that position. You're taking him in that position every opportunity you get, and it just didn't work out, which sucks.
I wonder if we get any sort of confirmation from anyone that maybe he was indeed tipping his pitches.
So for those that don't know what that means, that essentially means he's giving a tell before he throws the ball, right?
Correct. So John Boy, who, if you are a baseball fan, like, just go follow him, because he's the one who did the breakdown of the one that we loved at the beginning of the season with the F and wah.
Yeah, he does the lip readings.
Yeah, he does the lip readings. He's the one who did the lip reading with Willie Adames and Jesse Winker earlier this week when we saw that Willie told him to meet him out in the parking lot. And then, by the way, Willie told John Heyman of the New York Post that he went to the parking lot and Winker no-showed, which just makes me love that man even more. Like, even though I don't think he's going to be back here, like, it's a hell of a parting gift, Willie. I appreciate you. But he had a video out this morning saying that Williams was tipping his pitches, that his glove went in a different position, fastball versus changeup. It was a little difference, but a big enough one that big league hitters should have picked up on it. And the Brewers did admit when Frankie Montas was tipping his pitches in his last start of the season. I wonder if we get anything like that in any sort of postseason press conferences. We want to hear from you. 800-990-3776. Dump your Brewers bucket. in 2 minutes.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Everything is still looking great right now. No major delays around the area. We just have one quick tap of the brakes because of a broken down vehicle northbound through the Marquette, but even that's not too bad because it's not really in traffic. Just a little bit of a distraction. Otherwise, we are looking very smooth right now. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Becoming mostly sunny, a high of 67. Tonight, clear and mild, a low of 56. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too.
She absolutely nailed it.
Are you talking about Jenny Sambeline? Yeah, Jenny and her pendant, the music in a mother's heart. Hi, Rick. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Monica. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Jenny.
Jenny, we're going to produce your pendant design as a limited edition collector's item and put a few of them in all of our 8 Kessler stores.
Congratulations, Jenny. Wow, this is huge. Jenny, we expect the music in a mother's heart to sell out very quickly.
We'll also make a few available online.
I designed that pendant from the memory of how my mother made me feel when we'd sing together.
How often did that happen?
Constantly. We'd sing along with whatever was playing on the radio, or sometimes we would watch a musical on TV and sing along with that.
At just $124, the music in a mother's heart is going to sell out lightning fast.
I'm buying one.
I'm buying one. I bought the prototype the moment I saw it.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Finally, I ring the doorbell again, and now I'm pounding on the door. Your porch is on fire. It'd probably be a good idea to come out. A man walks out, belly hanging out of the bottom of his T-shirt, and I go, your porch is on fire. And he goes, oh, no.
Smoke? Everybody, I think I smell some smoke back here.
And I'm standing there with a hose in my hand. I don't know what you want to do about it. It could ignite again. And he's like, well, thanks, I guess.
Oh! It was an inferno in there! An inferno! There he is! That's him!
Thanks, I guess.
I'll never forget that term.
What kind of a topsy-turvy world do we live in where heroes are cast as villains, brave men as cowards?
I saw you push the women and children out of the way in a mad panic. And when you ran out, you left everyone behind.
Seemingly, to the untrained eye, I can fully understand how you got that impression.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but running.
800-990-3776. Justin in Middleton has a question for Joshy. Josh, you have some thoughts. Are you taking calls or no?
Answer the phone, would you? I tried to answer and I got a dial tone. I saw it, Justin.
All right, Justin.
Try it again, Justin.
800.
We do have connection issues sometimes with our phone.
Yeah.
That
Hell, what an excuse that is.
We were just talking
Pretty
about
good
it
one.
yesterday, you dink.
You're the dink.
You're mad at your dad, not me. I forgive you. It's the type of morning it is here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Alex Stroh for Cousin Sub of the Day. We are taking your phone calls. 800-990-3776. The extended conversation the polar bear had prior to his home run at bat makes me believe Devin was tipping his pitches. That coming from Rocky. Man. Yeah, that's... Look, if somebody like John Boy, who is just plugged in, saw potentially Devin Williams tipping his pitches, I believe that the Mets picked up on it. And that would make sense because the pitch that was hit for a home run was the first home run this year that he's given up off of a changeup. First opposite field home run, I believe, that Devin Williams has ever given up. And it wasn't that bad of a changeup. Started pretty far off the plate and came back. And he hit it out.
The fact that it's the changeup should tell you everything because that's the pitch, if you don't know, what you're getting,
yeah,
you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
If he's going to beat me with the changeup, he's going to beat me with the changeup. You're hunting fastballs at that point.
Yeah.
So to take that opposite field the way he did feels like he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Does it matter, though?
No.
Does it matter?
No, but it's
Like,
an explanation.
Is this how we get to the closure period of our 5 steps of grieving?
No, I mean, time's the only thing that's going to give us that.
You ask Gabe, what's happiness? What does matter today?
Being sad. That's what matters today, Joshy.
And that's making me not any less or more sad.
But neither is breaking down whether or not Devin Williams tipped his pitches, right? It happened. It sucked. The polar bear hit a home run. We lost. That's what matters. We lost an amazing and incredible opportunity to advance and to keep fighting and to keep showing up and to keep giving it an opportunity. This was a team, and I've said this 100 times this season, that played its best ball with its backs up against the wall. They're down 1-0 in a best-of-3 series. They win Game 2. They're up in Game 3 entering the 9th inning. They screwed up a terrific opportunity to advance, and that's what hurts today. I don't care if Devin Williams was tipping his pitches. I don't care if people are mad about managerial changes in Game 1, 2, or 3. It doesn't matter today. What matters is the opportunity was missed, and here we are again on a Friday that's supposed to be happy and celebrating the Brewers headed to the next round and previewing a big Packers game in Week 5. None of that matters today. Nothing matters today. What matters is being sad and upset, because that's what I am.
I don't know if this is going to make you feel any better.
It won't.
Danny texts in, I grew up in Milwaukee, so I'm a big Wisconsin sports fan. I graduated from UGA. My husband graduated from Alabama. Needless to say, last night's loss was icing on the cake. That's tough, Danny. I feel for you. It's a tough household to be in after that Georgia-Alabama game on Saturday. This is not a great way to follow that up for you.
That's a tough week.
It's a tough week for you. So I do feel for you, Danny. Just know we feel your pain. 800-990-3776. Let's go out to Chef Ed. Chef Ed, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Alex Strofe, our cousin sub of the day.
How's it going, guys? You guys know that I'm a major texter, but I want to thank you for letting you guys lay on the couch today, because I need to lay on the couch. I was at the 82 series. Yeah, I was at the 1982 World Series. I've been in 3 NFC championships. I've had a lot of heartbreak over the years, and this one is rough. This one's really going to take a while. It was set up perfectly. I keep asking myself, how did this happen? I mean, I hate the joy and the screaming of Bauer's home run. Didn't even calm down before, boom, Frelick pitch went out. I said, we got Devin Williams coming in. Mm-hmm. This is a done deal. I would have been happy with a 1-run lead going to the 9th with 7 on the mound. And this one's going to take a while. This one really stings.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Chef Ed. I don't think you're alone in this one is going to linger. It just, yeah.
That felt like a rapid fire of all the things that I've been feeling.
Yeah, that was really well done by Chef Ed.
It did have a little more context. I was not at the 82 one, but I've got a few more losses that I can slip in there somewhere to feel the same way.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, we all can, unfortunately. But I mean, it's like I said before, it's a great privilege to be in these spots all the time as a Wisconsin sports fan, but that doesn't help the pain, right? I mean,
losing sucks.
But I will say this Brewers team, and maybe it's because this is my first year in Milwaukee, right? This is my first baseball season in Milwaukee. So I was so plugged in on this team, and it just felt like for how young they were and inexperienced they were and battling through injuries and everything they battled through this year, this team just felt different.
I will say this, and one of the things I wish Craig would have said when he joined us and compared this team to last year's Packers team, yeah. The one thing they certainly do have in common is the lack of expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And that lack of expectation made last year's Packers season, when they went on the run that they did, so much more fun. It just it just felt like you grabbed onto it a little bit more, right?
There's a comparison to draw about the way they went out, too.
Yeah, and this Brewers team, again, I had no idea what to expect. Had no idea after losing Craig, after having to trade away Burns, after all the things, and for them to be this good, like it was a young, fun team. They were a thrill to watch, like the way that they play, and that's I think what I'm also just really sad about. Not only am I sad that they lost in the postseason, I'm just sad that it's over.
Yeah,
like not just because I would have loved to see them get a chance at the Phillies. I just loved watching this team play baseball in the way that they play it. It was different than any team that we've had in the Brewers, and it's so much. It's been a lot of fun. 800-990-3776. I see you, Justin in Middleton. We will get to you. Please be patient. Justin in Middleton, more of your calls coming up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. But I do want to tell you, maybe you should do it today. It's going to be a full sports weekend. Always is when you get to the fall. You want to make sure your freezer is stocked with Palermo's Pizza. And the great thing about Palermo's is whatever is, the kind of appetite you have, maybe you want a thin crust pizza, more a medium crust. Maybe you want a rising crust, a thicker pizza. Palermo's has you covered. With so many different brands under the Palermo's umbrella, they're going to find one that fits your appetite. I mean, here's just an example of some of the things Palermo's has. Palermo's Urban Pie, Connie's Surfer Boy Pizza, Screamin' Sicilian, and think about all the different kind of Screamin' Sicilian pizzas that exist as well. How does Palermo's do this? Well, they've been doing it for 60 years in Wisconsin, so of course they know premium frozen pizza. Find them in your grocer's frozen food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Things are actually moving along pretty well right now. No more incidents, no more delays, no more volume, really. Oh, actually, there is volume out there, but it's not really slowing down, so everything is looking great. And check out the TMJ4 Storm King forecast. Today, becoming mostly sunny, a high of 67. Tonight, clear and mild, a low of 56. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
The Jen, Gabe, and Chewy podcast is sponsored by Celsius Energy Drink, and I am here to tell you it makes a huge difference in my mornings. With a unique blend of essential energy and key vitamins, Celsius is your partner to an active lifestyle. My favorite, the Peach Vibe. Learn more at Celsius.com and pick up Celsius Energy Drinks today.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher, and summer is here. But if you want your parking lots and asphalt to be ready for winter, you have to remember the 3 R's from Johnson & Sons Paving. Reseal every 2 to 3 years. Repair when you see signs of cracking or potholes. And replace if there's constant standing water, buckling, or sinking. Don't scare customers or tenants away because of a bad parking lot. Connect with Johnson & Sons today before minor repairs end up being huge headaches. Schedule an appointment at johnsonsonspaving.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Hey football fans, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Homer here to tell you about Rawhide Youth Services. Co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Cherry Starr, Rawhide is a faith-based nonprofit that helps thousands of youth every year, many right here in Milwaukee, overcome trauma, suicidal thoughts, and live better lives. For youth who are hurting, who feel lost or abandoned, and families feeling powerless to help them, Rawhide is there to help. They also need vehicle donations to support their mission of helping hurting youth transform their future. Donate to Rawhide Youth Services. Visit rawhide.org/donate.
Are you looking to tackle a heating or cooling project? Menards is your heating and cooling headquarters. Whether you're installing a new system or upgrading an old one, we carry a wide range of ductwork sizes and styles to fit your needs. Plus, we have the tools and installation accessories to help you complete your project. Shop our great selection of ductwork products and check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
What operating system does a Chewy computer run on?
I believe it's a Cat 14.
It's a COS. It's a Chewy operating system.
I was thinking Windows 98.
Yeah, very similar.
It's dial-up. Let me get my modem.
Chewy
on 94.5 ESPN.
A lot of sadness, a lot of anger. Yeah, it's, Mark in Watertown says, Palermo's pizza, basket of wings, few pitchers of beer might help ease the pain.
I can tell you right now, I think I participated in 2 of the 3 of those last night. It didn't help a lot.
Well, because you didn't have the trio.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
Clearly, I don't know which one you were missing.
I was missing the wings.
Okay.
I had a Palermo's. I had a few beers.
What'd you go with?
Mambo Italiano.
Okay,
of course.
all right. All right.
Of course. A little hot sauce on top of it, but I still feel bad.
Yeah, well,
as delicious as it was. I was momentarily happy.
Yeah, again.
It's like, But yeah.
Tears between each bite.
Yeah, right.
Then the
just
pizza-
rewatching Euchre sign off over and over again.
Then the pizza's gone. Then you're sad and angry.
Right.
It's just a whole glass case of emotions situation. 800-990-3776. Dump your bucket with us as the Brewers season has come to a close. Justin in Middleton, you're up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, gentlemen. So I grew up in New Mexico, been in Wisconsin 4 years, and I'm a new Brewers fan. And so I don't experience the pain quite as much as you, but I grew up in New Mexico, and the team that was always played on the radio was the Dodgers. And so was able to listen to Vin Scully, and then up here getting to listen to Uke. And we have to think about the reality. Not only was the season over, Uke's 90 years old. This could have been the last game he ever calls. He's basically year to year on his contract, whether he's going to call another game again. So that's kind of bittersweet. And just in closing, to tie it into some song lyrics, because I'm a musician, as Garth Brooks said in his classic To Dance, it just kind of goes back to what Jason was talking about and what you guys have talked about. Would you rather never go to the playoffs and not experience the pain? But the line says, I could have missed the pain, but then I'd have had to miss the dance. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Justin.
That was beautiful.
And I do feel that, like, with time, like, today's not the day to be like, oh man,
no,
because like being at the game, I was there last night, and I'll tell you what. So where I was sitting in 222, and we were far enough back, we were close to the concourse, and Uke wasn't on the call the first 2 nights, but Uke's on the call tonight. You could hear it in the concourse. Really only at the beginning of the game, because there's then kind of a constant buzz the rest of the game. Right. You couldn't pick it up, but. So I was excited about that. I thought that was a good omen. But even like the moments of euphoria of the 2 home runs last night, of Garrett Mitchell from the night before, like those would be fun memories to look back on. But right now they don't help. Right? That doesn't ease the pain of ultimately was the 3-run home run from Alonso last night.
I do want to comment quickly on Uke, and just that man has been the soundtrack to people who grew up in the Milwaukee area, like the soundtrack of their summer. For as long as I've been alive, I've gotten in the car and listened to Bob Uecker on the radio talking to Brewers, and that's one that like really stings, especially when you hear Yelich talking about it. As we do the Uke playing it out there and getting off there. That is going to be one of the toughest things.
Do you have that sound, Josh? I think we should play it.
Play it.
Because so rarely, like Uke is an extension of the team, right? As you mentioned, like Bob Uecker, especially if you are a Brewers fan, is synonymous with the Brewers. Like they've had how many different players, managers, owners, general managers.
He's the staple.
But literally through my entire life, and broadcast partners who have gone on to do great things. You think of
so many
of all the different guys that have gone on to be number ones across the league after working with Uke. Of course, Pat Hughes is a Hall of Famer. And he just means something different. And even though he's not around as much as he used to be around this team, he still finds a way to make these connections and these bonds. And here's what Christian Yelich had to say last night about Bob Uecker.
Sorry, I thought you were looking for the Uke call. Here we go.
That's kind of a tough one. But, all the other stuff is, it is what it is. It's a tough way for your season to end, but talking to Yuki, one-on-one was tough. By far the hardest part of the night for me was talking to Bob and just all that stuff. But he still kind of laughs through it all and that whole deal. And all you guys know him pretty well, been around here, so yeah.
Krista, what made that so tough? It almost feels like the loss is sort of secondary in your mind right now.
Yeah, it's not. I don't really want to get into that, but it's just it's tough. Yeah.
What has he meant to you?
He means a lot. It means a lot. Gotten to know him pretty good over the last 7 years, so just. It's right over there. It's just a great guy.
And there was a sign last night that said, "Do it for you." And he just has a connection, not just with the fan base, with the players, unlike any other broadcaster.
He's an absolute legend. And and I know we played his sign off earlier, and hearing everybody talk about it, he's a legend. So yeah, that one hurts. It hurts that he still hasn't been able to call a World Series game for the Crew. And, again, just to go back to what we've been talking about all morning, this felt like a year in which they had a really good shot, just given all the adversity they overcame. I know Craig mentioned it, right? This was the team that was picked last in the NL Central. They led the NL Central for pretty much the entire season, right? And despite, the guy we just heard from, Christian Yelich, he was an all-star starter. End of July, ruled out the rest of the year due to back surgery. And no Woodruff. You trade Corbin Burns. Robert Gasser comes in, and you lose him for the season. You lose your Uribe for the season. You lose your manager in the offseason. Everything changed, and so many things out of your control happened. And this was still a first-place team. This was still a team that was providing all those exciting moments.
By the way, it wasn't close.
Right.
First place.
They were the first team to clinch.
To clinch their division in baseball.
And unfortunately, they fall in the wild card round, and nothing you can do about it. But it just felt like they had it in the bag last night, and that's what makes this so painful. And I think as we've been listening to players and everybody on the broadcast from last night, there's just like an unbelievable amount of dismay and confusion of what just happened. Right, because I think we entered the top of the ninth up 2 runs. Devin Williams is taking the mound. As you mentioned, the lights go out. You go, here we go. Come on, we're going to Philly. We're going to win this. We just got to close it out. And then we know what happens. And so nobody had a lot of time to process what the hell just happened out there at AmFam Field. Right? You have a lead. The improbable happened. Sal Frelick hit a freaking home run last night. He hasn't done that since May.
Not just a home run. A tank.
A tank? What was it, 408?
It was 107 off the bat.
Oh, God.
His farthest home run this year was like 361, like 390 something. Like it was 20 feet farther than anything he had hit all year.
Wow.
Hadn't hit one since May 15th.
Yeah, he crushed that ball.
And the way, again, even though he's not a home run hitter, he had 2 all year. When you hit one that hard, he admired.
Oh, he took his time. He took his sweet time to watch that thing go out the park. And right before him, obviously, right, the Jake Bauers home run, which I don't know if we've highlighted, it's a second night in a row. In Game 2 and Game 3, the pinch hitter came in and hit a crucial home run, like Garrett Mitchell did in Game 2. So it just felt like everything was going the Brewers' way, and then the ninth happens.
And it wasn't.
So as we listen to these audio clips and we hear all the reaction from immediately following the loss, you just realize people are processing their emotions live because it happened so quickly. All of a sudden, as we're riding high, going into the ninth inning, boom, it all falls down. And Bryce Terang, who doesn't ground into double plays, grounds into a double play to end the game.
I didn't see what the exit velo on that, but he hit it so hard.
He hit it so hard. And,
like 1 foot either way, and it's a hit. And
hit it straight to an MVP candidate. What do you do?
We'll continue to take your calls, but the Packers do have a game coming up on Sunday. We will talk about that. And we will continue to talk about the Brewers. Coming up next, but it doesn't matter what age you are, low testosterone can be an issue with any guy. Mentality has helped me. A local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform. at their very best. Look, you can compete at work and sports like you did years ago. Maybe you're tired, groggy, just don't have that energy that you used to. Those could be signs of low testosterone. And if they are, go to lowtusa.com. Set up an appointment. See if it is low testosterone. And if it is, Mentality can help you the way that they've helped me. Look, I've got this show. I've got another show this afternoon. I'm doing our high school game tonight. I need a lot of energy. And Mentality has helped me get that energy throughout the course of my day. So go to lowtusa.com. Mentality allows treatment to fit into every guy's lifestyle. Learn more about Mentality and their low testosterone treatments at lowtusa.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
It is a quiet ride across the area. I'm not seeing really any incidents or delays around, so we're looking at a pretty typical Friday morning ride, nice and quiet. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, becoming mostly sunny, a high of 67, and tonight clear and mild with a low of 56. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Since 1994, Heart of Canal Street has donated more than $21 million to hundreds of children's charities in southeastern Wisconsin. 30 years later, Potawatomi Casino Hotel is continuing this tradition. Hey, it's Jen Latta, and here with me today is Sarah Neubauer from Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Tell us more about this unique program.
Yeah, so Heart of Canal Street is Potawatomi Casino Hotel's signature giving program. Each year, hundreds of local children's charities apply for a chance at winning thousands of dollars to help their missions. And this year, we're giving away a total of over $500,000 to 30 local children's charities to celebrate our 30th anniversary.
Is there a way for guests to take part in Heart of Canal Street?
Yes, so now through December 17th, we invite you to share your heart simply by playing the Heart of Canal Street bingo game at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. When you play this special game, you help raise funds to give away to children's charities. And we're also doing a roundup option to fundraise at our 1100 Bar and Lounge, Bar 360, and at Cream City Coffee Company.
That is such a cool opportunity. I love Cream City Coffee at Potawatomi. They even have a fall menu happening right now, right?
Yes, we have our classic pumpkin spice lattes and frappes, but also we have a pear cider refresher, a pumpkin spice hot white chocolate, and a caramel spiced apple cider. It's so delicious. And for a warm cocktail option, we have a brandy apple cider added to the menu as well.
That sounds perfect for fall. Any fall-inspired pastries to go along with it?
Absolutely. There's a pumpkin cream cheese muffin, pumpkin bread, an apple cider donut, caramel apple crumb bar, a fig cream cheese Danish with honeycomb, and more. They really pulled out all the stops, and they sound phenomenal.
And of course, it is football season, and I know the Potawatomi Sportsbook has been jammed with people enjoying their games.
Yes, and enjoying the 2,000 square foot LED screen, the extremely comfortable seating. You also can place your sports bets here and build them on the website before you come in, or place live bets as you watch the game, and make sure to reserve your spot now for this weekend's game.
Where can folks go to reserve their spot for the Sportsbook?
Learn more at paysbig.com.
Hey, Milwaukee sports fans. It's Brad Nortman from Kyle Brust & Nortman. You've invested too much into that nice ride, so don't settle for a gas station car wash. Treat it to a Tsunami Express car wash. State-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and unlimited wash memberships. Now with 5 locations across Greater Milwaukee, Tsunami Express is your go-to spot for a flawless finish and a first-class car wash every time. Trust me, your car will thank you. Sign up for a membership online at tsunamiexpress.com and get your first wash free. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, the Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the Bog.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Road, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week, even Sundays. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You got to have a condiment with the bread.
Yeah, you want
can't
some
eat the
sort
bread
of
alone.
Yeah, you want some sort of lubricant with the bread. Yes, that's correct.
Yes,
it's just necessary.
You follow?
Like, you don't want to just be sitting there eating like pieces of white bread with nothing on it.
Can't be going dry.
Yeah, it can't be raw dog and just white bread.
On 94.5 ESPN.
I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes, a curiosity. Dark
from Watertown wants to chime in. He was waiting on hold, but he had to hang up. So he texted in his thoughts at 800-990-3776. Every year, it's always it's where we're going to lose, not what are we going to add. This offseason, it will be Reese, who's going to opt out. Adames will no doubt get a good deal somewhere, willing to pay him what he's worth. Until Atanasio decides the Brewers baseball is more important than Norwich City or his neighbors. It's a good pop, especially with all the sand.
Yep, the sand.
Yeah,
yep.
You can do your own research on that if you don't know what we're talking about. This is all we can expect. While money doesn't guarantee success, nobody ever talks about the Moneyball A's losing the first round of the playoffs. I understand that. And I'm not going to say you're wrong. If that's the way you feel, it's the way you feel.
Look at you go.
But last night, they didn't lose because they didn't have a high enough payroll.
No.
They lost because one of their best players didn't perform when he needed to perform.
The Mets did not win because they had the number one payroll in baseball. Yeah. Right? That's not the reason they won that game last night. They crushed a ball. Pete Alonso specifically crushed a ball at the exact right time when they needed it most. It felt like a clutch moment that we've seen plenty of from the Brewers throughout the 162-game regular season.
Yeah, and Josh, I know you're one of the guys who always wants to harp on the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
money, Hardo.
And I think it's going to be a conversation we are going to have whenever the day is this offseason that Willy Adames signs a 6-year, $200 million contract or whatever he ends up getting. Like, I think that there is a conversation to be had. I don't think payroll's the reason they lost last night.
No, I'm the avowed why isn't Mark Atanasio spending more money guy on the show. I'm going to be that forever. But if you take the context of the way this team performed, finished the season as one of the best in all of baseball, one of the best run differentials in all of baseball, the pieces were there to be successful. You can always have more. Mm-hmm. The Mets could have had more. The Dodgers could always have more. You always want to get better. But once you enter the postseason, all that stuff goes away.
Yeah.
It's your guys versus their guys. You beat their guys most often throughout the season. Most other teams, you beat their guys, no matter what their payroll was. That stuff doesn't matter to me. There's one thing I want to add as an addition to that, though. A little but.
However.
And I love Pat Murphy, big Pat Murphy guy. The amount he's mentioned payroll and small market really, really makes me upset. I don't feel like I need my manager telling me that.
Sure, that's fair.
That's a fair gripe.
That is something that Matt Arnold deals with, and the people up in the executive branch, and
the executive branch of Brewers government.
Yeah, I don't want to say Pat Murphy's making excuses, but it feels a little like it. He mentioned it even after, was it game one that you sent it before game two?
Yeah, I sent you.
Game one, yeah.
Well, I sent Josh. So Josh and Ashley, when I were doing the show after game one. And I sent you guys, or after game two, whenever I sent it.
Yeah.
Like, because it was right before game two that he had his his press conference, and he was talking about, like, the important thing is, how do we respond? Do we get off the mat? And all these different things. Mm-hmm. And of course, like, he throws in there the payroll thing, which was just so far not a part of the overall points he was making. And it's the one thing, of course, like, Josh texted back, like, oh.
It's like a siren. My ears go. There is audio here. It's a little bit long. This is about the Brewers' 5 straight early exits from the playoffs. And I found Murphy's response pretty interesting and illuminating. I want to see what you guys think of it.
Murph, this is obviously 5 straight times out in the first round of the playoffs. I don't know if you can describe the disappointment of another early exit in the playoffs, but how do you put that into words?
And you can look at you can look at history if you want, but I think the best part of history, if you want to report on history, is the Brewers have been to the playoffs 6 out of 7 years with one of the smallest budgets, in the smallest market in baseball. So I think that's something that the organization should be commended for. Early exits out of the playoffs, I mean, there's not a lot of teams that go deep every year, so we showed we're competitive, and we had the 4th best record in baseball, and we didn't do anything to get ourselves out of the postseason, and the credit goes to the Mets. But if you want to emphasize that, that's your right to do whatever you'd like to emphasize. I'd like to emphasize the Brewers organization has been to the postseason 6 out of 7 years with not the biggest budget, and and quite frankly, in a real small market. So I think that's something to hang your hat on. I'm disappointed like anyone else, but things happen.
We'll go fourth row on the right.
Every team we've lost to in the playoffs, as you know, every team we've lost to in the playoffs went to the World Series. Now, I can't predict what's going to happen here, but
I was actually going to bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, he's just lashing out at the end.
Yeah,
he's just
that's
grasping for straws. He's just trying to figure it out. Look, two things can be true.
I don't disagree with him, for the record.
Two things can be true. The Brewers should be commended for making, because even in the baseball playoffs, like baseball is actually what the NFL pretends to be in terms of parity. Like there's a lot more parity in Major League Baseball. The Rangers and the Diamondbacks played for the World Series last year. Neither were in the playoffs this year.
Didn't even have a bite at the apple.
Yeah, didn't even have a bite. So, yes, do I think the Brewers should be commended for 6 out of 7 years? That is incredibly difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
However, you can still be disappointed and sad and have this sting being early exits 5 out of the last 5 times they've been there. Mm-hmm. Like those two things can hold true. Like you don't have to pick the way Murphy is trying to there, one or the other. That you can hold both of those thoughts in your mind at the same time. And that's okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because the early exit sucks, right? This year probably hurts a little bit less than past years. I think 2018 is the golden example for how much that one hurt and how close they were.
Because you made it to game, you were
right. You were game away.
It is the closest the Brewers have ever been to a World Series in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I was born in 86, so I wasn't around in 82. In 11, they made it to Game 6 of the NLCS.
Mm-hmm.
And in 18, they made it to Game 7.
So this one, in terms of bites at the apple, hurts maybe a little bit less. But I'm sick of losing.
Yeah.
I'm just sick
losing
of losing.
Sucks.
Losing sucks.
It stinks.
And
it's the worst.
You know, I've seen several people text in what happiness is Kevin Durant's big toe. Because had it not been for that, maybe the Bucks don't win in 21. Sure, I guess.
Yeah.
To Pat Murphy's point, though, I think why he highlights the two statistics, right, the payroll and the small market, it's because it is an incredible accomplishment, right? I mean, you look around the other small markets, it's pretty rare they're doing what the Brewers have done on such a consistent basis. But to get there again and again and again and again and not break through, it's just depressing and tiring. Like, I'm tired. And I know it's the day after. And when March and April roll around, I'll be excited to see this team back at it. And excited to see them kick some ass in the NL Central and be competing again for a first-round bye, hopefully, which they really should have had this year, but that's beside the point.
I want to be careful with my words here. I'm not calling Pat Murphy a loser, but that's loser talk. Our market, our payroll.
He lost. And he's highlighting the good.
I don't know.
I don't care about the market.
I know you don't, but like let him for this, if you want to believe, he's reeling, man. Like he's just searching for anything. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not going to put much stock into that. Like
searching's one thing, is searching for, well, it's actually impressive we're here. Like I don't know why I've heard him mention the budget 2 times in the past 2 days. I don't know why that matters to me right now. Because if we were to go back and do it, we can get into the conversation, Pat, if you want to, about how your owner elects not to use money that he could if he chose to. Like, if we want to have that conversation, we can do that. But to say, like, small market, yeah, we know. We live here. We watch this
We're
team.
aware.
It's true, yeah.
We're aware.
We know very damn well. And there is, bring a valid point. He's reeling. That was heartbreaking. I believe he called it devastating.
Yeah.
He called it a tragedy,
all those things. But stop telling me about the money. Because unless you can get Mark to spend more, it's going to be the same thing. And is that going to be the excuse next time? And the time after that?
It's a fair point. I don't know. Maybe he's doing that in a way of protest, right? pointed out, so Mark has to address it. I'm not saying it'll work.
I'm lashing out. He lashed out. I'm lashing
Everybody
out.
can lash out. That's what we're doing today.
Here.
Lash out.
I really like him.
If
those loser talk.
Lash out off.
If we, because again, now it comes to the having two different thoughts in your mind and being able to try to have those compete, because this is the best Brewers baseball has ever been.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Right?
Golden era.
But when you see an ownership group just down the street at Fiserv Forum willing to go into the, everybody's favorite NBA term, second apron, right? And probably lose money year over year, but understand that you're going to get it back on the back end. And yet you see Mark Attanasio, who's not willing to do that. Like, that's also tough to grapple with.
Correct.
Right? Because there are people out there that are willing to do that. And Attanasio's not selling anytime soon.
No.
So it's just something you have to come to terms with. But also, at the same time, he deserves to be... It's kind of like Herb Cole's legacy with the Bucks. Like, he oversaw some really bad times. But we honestly do not have a championship with the Bucks if it's not for Herb Cole.
100%.
Because he kept the team here. He made sure they stayed here. And that's the first line that should be. And I believe with Attanasio, the first line should be, this is the most sustained success the Brewers franchise has ever seen on the field. I think that should be the first line. There should be a comma and a but following it.
A big hairy butt.
No, not that kind. Come on, man.
Just trying to giggle a little bit.
Got me. Worked for me.
Strophy's not around us enough. He's not impervious to the occasional
always
hairy
laugh at a butt joke. I mean, I'll never grow out of that.
I said we were going to talk about the Packers. We haven't yet. I guess maybe we will. I guess we'll all find out together next.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
You would vote the opening of the show should be Brett Favre as an alien.
If a guy wrote a song for me, it would probably be my opening.
All right.
That's just me.
Well, but how many other people do you think have written a song for me?
None.
Pepper, what's your vote?
I will say 0 as well.
You guys are so mean and accurate.
Thank you.
The Homer Hour with Homer. Weekdays from 5 to 6. Right here on 94.5 ESPN. And streaming live on YouTube.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
This time of year can be really tough on a number of areas in your home. If you're struggling with any electrical issues, the superheroes at Current Electric are ready to help you. Chuck Smith is a Brookfield Central grad who started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality. Whether it's as small as a switch repair or as large as rewiring your entire home to a generator to keep your lights on or even interest in solar energy, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Wallace. Right now at Universal Windows Direct, get 0% financing for 60 months, restrictions apply. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to uwd.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Football fans, tailgating season is here. There's no better way to celebrate football being back than with Boda Box Wine. Boda Box is giving away tickets to 2 separate winners for a VIP Green Bay game day and tailgate party experience for the November 24th game against San Francisco. Fans, enter by scanning the QR code posted at participating Boda Box retailers in Wisconsin through October 30th. Winners will be announced on November the 1st. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 years or older to enter. Boda Box Vineyards, Manteca, California. Visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com for more details.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
Calling all green and gold fans. Ditch the stress and ride in style to Green Bay with the Milwaukee Broad House. With round-trip rides starting at $85 per person to every home game, you can enjoy all you can drink on the bus. No need to worry about traffic or parking. Milwaukee Broad House even has a private restroom on board. Upgrade your experience with an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate package for $30 more. Don't miss out. Secure your seat now at MilwaukeeBroadhouse.com. Let's make every game day legendary.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Where else can you get football analysis that includes things like dropsies and pixies and interceptsies and flowy? It's flowy. The offense needs to be more flowy.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Ben texts in, you guys make this to be doom and gloom. They've been to the playoffs 6 out of the last 7 years. Would you be more or less irritated had they not been in the playoffs? Look, we want them to be in the playoffs. But that doesn't mean like today doesn't sting.
I'd like an NLCS.
Yeah, me too. But I have reached this conclusion after discussing this for the last 2 hours. I'd rather feel like this than nothing at all. I think 3 Days Grace had a song like that back in the 2000s. I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all.
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling.
Sick reference, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I saw they're in the news right now.
I was about to say, were you inspired by our caller who had quoted a song earlier?
Yes, correct.
So you were just going through the song lyrics in your head?
No. 3 Days Grace is in the news
well,
right
okay,
now,
so
fresh in my mind.
To juxtapose how we are feeling today, we've got a lot of pain because our teams are good.
Yep.
Brewers are good.
They are.
Packers are good. Bucks are good.
We think so.
Could be worse. You could be a Chicago sports fan, and where the biggest games of the year, your teams aren't even playing.
What a bunch of dorks.
Well,
what a bunch of frickin' dorks.
Well, and so here's David Kaplan, host over
we're playing this?
Over at ESPN 1000.
This made my blood boil.
Here is a video. I'm not sure when he tweeted this out. I saw this morning. I retweeted it. But here's what David Kaplan had to say this morning.
Hey, what's the difference between the 2024 Milwaukee Brewers and the 2024 Chicago Cubs? 4 days. 4 days. Take that, Brewers. Bye-bye. We've got all 3 games in Milwaukee at our stadium. Bye-bye. See you. Head to the golf course, go fishing, because you're out. And guess what? Our front office got their back up against the wall. Oh, yeah. They're going to spend money, and they're going to add on. Guess what? Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed those 4 days. Gone. Ha-ha! Take that. Yeah!
I mean, I hope the Cubs are spending money because, man, you got 10 games to make up. You guys are so far in the rear view. Look, this is the state of Chicago sports. They all stink. Every last one of them. They're bad. I'm not even sure the last time one of them made the playoffs. So this is, and it's unfortunate because Cap is dragging down his partner, Jonathan Hood, who I do GKW with last night, and was gracious enough to tell me, hey, don't do the show tonight. Go to the game instead. That's game 3. You need to be there. Go do that. So, I mean, they're not all like that. Jay Hood's great, but Cap decided that this is something he needed to do. He needed to lash out because literally all of their teams suck and can't even make the playoffs.
It's pathetic. It's loser's mentality. It's sad.
It's more sad than anything.
I mean, it's pathetic. No, it's worse than sad. It's pathetic. That's what you have to look forward to?
Yeah, because
you might spend some money in free agency.
I mean, it's what
You're still going to suck.
It's what he has to look forward to.
We have Jackson Chourio. You have Craig Counsell outside of his prime.
Yeah, I mean, it's all he has to look forward to. You know what? Professional sports teams from Chicago are in the last calendar year against teams from Wisconsin.
You have a record?
I do.
What is it?
Teams from Chicago are 6-13. 6-13 against teams from Wisconsin.
It's pretty good.
It's 2-1.
Yeah, it's not good.
Myself here, I'm a self-described hater, big time.
Yeah.
Love reveling in other teams losing almost as much as my team's winning. I'll tell you what I'll never do is celebrate when my team's sitting at home. When my team wasn't even in the dance.
Maybe not publicly. Doing it publicly is something different.
Yeah, it's just, what? And for your hope to be our GM's back against the wall, that's how you people get fired.
Correct.
Being back against the wall is a bad spot to be in.
Well, you spent a bunch of money last year. How'd that work out?
Yeah, what's more money
Third
gonna do?
place.
What's more money going to do? You guys...
I mean, it's not like they're going to go out and buy Juan Soto.
No.
Again, you took one of the best things from the Brewers, and the Brewers got better. Thank you. Maybe we should be thanking the Cubs.
We should be. And we should be.
For taking Craig Counsell.
Yeah, out of his prime. He was a good manager occasionally when he was here. Not no more.
But again, 6-13.
Losers.
Teams from Chicago against teams from Wisconsin. So this is all they have to look forward to. We can unite in hating what David Kaplan did.
Packers win Sunday?
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, there are going to be a couple of drives where the Rams look good because Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay are good. They just can't sustain it. No. They just can't sustain it.
Boat race.
Yeah, I think I said 28-13. Something like that. We'll be in touch with Steinhoffels coming up next.
Wrapping up the morning with a lovely ride. It's nice and quiet. No incidents really to report. No delays either. So we are in good shape. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Becoming mostly sunny, a high of 67. Tonight, clear and mild with a low of 56. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Are you looking for a reliable ride? I've got you covered. It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. I use AccuTrans Group for my private transportation needs during the college football season. AccuTrans is a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. From corporate travel and weddings to group events, AccuTrans Group caters to every occasion. Booking is easy, safe, and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to get a quote or to book a reservation today for reliable and safe transportation.
Awarded Best of Weddings 2023 by The Knot,